What you get in awards is favoritism. I mean, people can say, well, my favorite movie was Annie Hall, but the implication is that
I had a bad marriage, and it was partially my fault for the first year of marriage.
It's just, you get the feeling through the I guess the talent of the director.
And I panicked immediately because I thought that they wanted their Oscars back. Because I've won a few Oscars over the years.
A gigantic industry has been built on a total non-event. And when I say a total non-event,
he's lying, and he's been lying for so long. And it is difficult for me to see him.
Previously known as one of the leading voices of American cinema, director Woody Allen helped to shape the landscape of independent Western film through the late 1970s and 80s. Winning an Academy Award for Best Director for both Annie Hall and Hannah and Her Sisters, Allen also helped to establish the careers of the likes of Jeff Daniels, Diane Keaton, and many more. Despite this, and more recent success with Midnight in Paris, among other films, Woody Allen is better known in the contemporary landscape of cinema as a controversial figure, thanks to the allegations of misconduct that were pointed towards him in the 1990s. The story of such allegations dates back to 1980, however, when Woody Allen met Mia Farrow, the well-known actor of the likes of Rosemary's Baby and The Great Gatsby, as well as the mother to 7 children, both biological and adopted. At the time, Woody Allen was known as one of the film industry's leading voices, having just released Annie Hall as well as Manhattan, a film that involves a 40-year-old character falling in love with a high school student. Becoming an item, Allen and Farrow would be in a relationship for 12 years, where in that time the couple raised Farrow's children, before finalizing the adoption of Dylan and Moses in 1991. In 1992, however, the relationship came to an abrupt, dramatic end when, whilst at Allen's apartment, Mia Farrow discovers a stack of explicit nude photos of her adopted daughter, Soon-Yi Previn, taken by the filmmaker. When the photos were discovered, Previn was just 21, whilst Woody Allen was in his 50s. Soon after this discovery, later in 1992, the adopted daughter of both Woody Allen and Mia Farrow, Dylan Farrow, told her mother about an alleged that occurred between herself and the filmmaker at a young age. According to the court testimony on August 4, 1992, Allen visited Dylan at the Farrow family home in Connecticut, where a friend's babysitter, Allison Strickland, was also present, alongside Farrow's babysitter, Christy Grotek, and a French tutor, Sophie Burge. Sensing something was wrong with the visit from Woody Allen, Strickland told her employer that she had seen the father kneel in front of Dylan, age 7 years old, with his head in her lap facing her body. The young girl also told her mother, Mia Farrow, who immediately contacted her attorney and took Dylan to her local pediatrician, where the girl reported no signs or discussion of any AB. Shortly after these allegations, Woody Allen and Mia Farrow's daughter, Soon-Yi Previn, go public with their relationship, and the once celebrated filmmaker is faced with an onslaught of media criticism. Holding a press conference to defend himself against the very serious allegations of SA, Woody Allen stated, "This is an unconscionable and gruesomely damaging manipulation of innocent children for vindictive and self-serving motives, in typically meticulous prose." Suggesting that Farrow had influenced Dylan to lie as to punish Allen for his relationship with Soon-Yi Previn, the filmmaker went on to add, "Currently popular though heinous card played in all too many child custody fights. And while sometimes effective, the tragedy of programming one's child to cooperate is unspeakable." For a while, the media whirlwind slowed down, until March 18, 1993, where Allen confirmed that after a team of medical experts examined Dylan over several months, no signs of SA could be found. Shortly after this announcement, just a few days later on March 26th, Mia Farrow testified before the New York State Supreme Court, where Woody Allen was suing for sole custody of their 3 children, Satchel, Dylan, and Moses. Confirming that Dylan had told her that Allen had SA'd the previous summer, Farrow also insisted that her young daughter didn't want to tell the doctors about her AB, videotaping a private confession between herself and Dylan, which was roughly edited. 3 key witnesses were called for the trial, each of which was present at the time when Woody Allen entered the Farrow home and had allegedly AB'd Dylan. These included Allison Strickland, Christy Grotek, and Sophie Burge. Grotecki, the babysitter to Farrow's children, testified that for around 20 minutes in the afternoon of the incident, she was unable to locate neither Allen nor Dylan, assuming they were both outside. Whilst the filmmaker testifies he was in the bathroom during this point, French tutor Sophie Burge stated that she saw Dylan with no underwear on that same day, while Strickland's original recount of the incident remained the case's strongest piece of evidence against Allen. Disputing the validity of Farrow's edited tape and the statements from the three witnesses, the case continued for many months, and in May 1993, Dr. John Leventhal, one of the doctors who examined a young Dylan, testifies in a statement that the girl's story had a rehearsed quality. Continuing, his statement read, "We had two hypotheses. One, that these were statements that were made by an emotionally disturbed child and then became fixed in her mind. And the other hypothesis was that she was coached or influenced by her mother." Both results that Dr. John Leventhal proposed supported Woody Allen's position in the case, suggesting that Dylan's comments had indeed been fabricated. In his closing remarks, the doctor noted, "We did not come to a firm conclusion. We think that it was probably a combination." On June 8, 1993, the court awarded the custody of Moses, Dylan, and Satchel to Mia Farrow, and Woody Allen lost the long, hard-fought battle. As reported by a thorough examination by the New York Times, Woody Allen was handed a scathing decision from Judge Elliot Wilk, calling the filmmaker a self-absorbed, untrustworthy, and insensitive father, criticizing his affair with Farrow's adopted daughter, Soon-Yi Previn. The case reached a climax in September 1993 when Frank S. Macco, the state attorney of Litchfield County, Connecticut, held a press conference to state that he had probable cause to charge Woody Allen with essaying Dylan Farrow. Strangely, however, the attorney stated that he would not charge Allen due to the potential trauma that such a prison sentence could cause for Dylan. In December 1997, Woody Allen and Soon-Yi Previn would marry, bookending a disastrous few decades for the filmmaker that had seen him locked into a failed custody battle with Mia Farrow, as well as accusations of Child M that continued to be questioned. Though the case had certainly quietened, Woody Allen walked away from the situation as a broken man and shell of his former celebrated self, leaving a chasm of destruction in his path. As Woody Allen's personal life struggled, so too did his professional career, with the filmmaker unable to reproduce the wonder of his early projects, spluttering out the likes of Hollywood Ending in 2002, as well as Matchpoint and Vicky Cristina Barcelona in 2005 and 2008, respectively. Though Allen did see success with the likes of the Oscar-winning Midnight in Paris and Blue Jasmine, such silver linings were often marred with the constant reminder of his previous alleged wrongdoings. The case reared its head again in 2014 when Woody Allen told the New York Times that he continues to blame Farrow for Dylan's accusations, stating, "Of course I did not M. Dylan. I loved her and hope one day she will grasp how she has been cheated out of having a loving father and exploited by a mother more interested in her own festering anger than her daughter's well-being." Continuing, the director added, "No one wants to discourage AB victims from speaking out, but one must bear in mind that sometimes there are people who are falsely accused, and that is also a terribly destructive thing." Since then, the career of Woody Allen has been deconstructed and evaluated in light of the Me Too movement that looks to eradicate SA in all walks of life, and particularly in the entertainment industry. In December 2017, Dylan Farrow wrote an op-ed for the LA Times titled, "Why Has the Hashtag #MeToo Revolution Spared Woody Allen?", in which she attacked the deliberately created fog formed by the media around the Woody Allen story. In addition, a month after the release of the article, she appeared on CBS This Morning, where she gave an emotional interview about her life with Allen.
What I don't understand is how is this crazy story of me being brainwashed and coached more believable than what I'm saying about being by my father?
After being shown a video of the director denying the allegations, Farrow started to cry before stating,
He's lying, and he's been lying for so long. And it is difficult for me to see him.
In any case, Woody has been on the receiving end of extreme public backlash over the years. In fact, in September, the controversial film director was booed by critics as he arrived at the screening for his film Coup de Chance with his family on Monday evening. The filmmaker, who is now 87, was supported by his wife Soon-Yi Previn and their adopted daughters, 23-year-old Manzi Teo and 24-year-old Beshe, at the premiere of his film, which was screened out of competition at the 80th Annual Venice Film Festival. Allen was hand in hand with 52-year-old Freeman as they arrived at the Venice Lido ahead of its first official screening, but the applause was overshadowed by booing from those opposed to his presence. The American director wore a black dinner suit, white dress shirt, and bow tie as he greeted photographers alongside his wife, who opted for an elegant evening dress. Appearing at a press conference earlier that day, Allen admitted he has been very lucky his whole life and not been held accountable for things he did poorly in his work. He told reporters, "I've been very, very lucky. Lucky my whole life, really. I had 2 loving parents. I have good friends. I have a wonderful wife and marriage, 2 children. In a few months, I'll be 88 years old. I've never been in hospital. I've never had anything terrible happen to me. I've been very, very lucky my whole life. When I started making films, all the people chose to emphasize what I was able to do well and to not hold me accountable for the things that I did poorly. They were very generous to me, and I've been very lucky with my filmmaking. And I've had, over my lifetime, much undeserved praise and an enormous amount of attention and respect. And so I have nothing but good fortune, and I hope it holds out, of course. It's early this afternoon. So far, I've been very lucky." Woody's recent film, Coup de Chance, is a sophisticated affair that fits in the classic Allen mold. A lighthearted dissection of love and infidelity with a beautiful woman at its center. It is the story of a bond between 2 young people, which leads to marital infidelity and ultimately crime. Coup de Chance, which translates to stroke of luck, is his first film entirely in French, reflecting the fact that the director is now more popular in Europe than the United States. In 2020, Allen hit back at Hollywood stars who denounced him, saying it is like everybody suddenly eating kale. He said, "I assume that for the rest of my life, a large number of people will think I was a predator. It's silly. The actors have no idea of the facts, and they latch on to some self-serving, public, safe position. Who in the world is not against Child M? That's how actors and actresses are, and denouncing me became the fashionable thing to do, like everybody suddenly eating kale." He added, "You can give them the facts over and over, but the facts don't matter. For some reason, emotionally, it's important for them to buy into the story." Stars such as Mira Sorvino, Greta Gerwig, Colin Firth, and Rebecca Hall are among the names who distanced themselves from the director, having previously worked with him. Woody has gone from becoming one of the most important living directors to struggling to secure financing for his films in the US. In any case, Woody is not the only celebrity who has been facing such allegations. In recent years, several Hollywood directors and movie stars have been accused of preying on children. One such person is David O. Russell, who allegedly groped his 19-year-old transgender niece. At the end of 2011, the American Hustle director was working out at a Florida gym with his 19-year-old transgender niece, Nicholas Peloquin, who now goes by the name Nicole. And according to Peloquin, he felt up her chest while helping her with AB exercises. Russell was interviewed by police, claiming that she was acting very provocative towards him and admitted feeling up her chest region, but asserted that it was completely consensual. Ultimately, the incident didn't result in any criminal charges. Russell admits that the incident happened, but even if it was consensual, it's pretty damn weird to feel up your niece. So it's understandable that Peloquin wasn't cool with it. When the Sony Pictures hack took place, an email about the incident surfaced from Columbia Pictures exec Michael DeLuca, branding O. Russell a loon. Another creepy director is Michael Bay, who made a 19-year-old Megan Fox wash his car for her 2007 Transformers audition. What's more, Bay even filmed it, and when asked by an interviewer where the tape resides today, he rather unconvincingly replied, "I don't know where it is." Although it's not exactly on the level of the casting couch, it's still pretty weird considering that Bay was more than double Fox's age at the time, and there's naturally a suggestive element to the car washing, not to mention that Bay filmed it. Granted, it won Fox a lucrative career, but even so, there's an undeniable ick attached to it. Another Hollywood director who has faced SA charges is Bryan Singer. The acclaimed X-Men director has faced so many accusations and legal issues over the years that it's tough to take it all with a grain of salt. Claims have circulated for years that Singer's pool parties in Los Angeles allowed impressionable young men to hang out with the Hollywood elite for a price. Though numerous sources confirm that Singer is careful about having his friends select men of legal age for him, he reportedly would buy alcohol for under 21s. And so the whole thing basically seems like a twisted spin on the typical casting couch phenomena. Formal accusations against him include a 1997 lawsuit in which a 14-year-old alleged that Singer asked him to perform a shower scene in the nude during filming of Apt Pupil, and the infamous SA case from 2014 in which Michael Egan claimed to have been drugged and SA'd by Singer. Both cases were ultimately thrown out without any charges for Singer. Though it's important to remember that Singer has never been legally charged with anything, it's tough to ignore the sheer number of reports about his activities. Sure, you might expect one or two people hoping to cash in on a vulnerable celebrity with lawsuits, but given how many independent reports talk about his predatory predilection towards young boys, it's hard for some of the mud not to stick a little bit. Another not-so-famous director who has been associated with SA charges is Victor Salva, who directed the first two Jeepers Creepers movies. His earlier career was colored by controversy when, in 1988, Salva was charged with SAing 12-year-old Nathan Forrest Winters, the star of his eventual 1989 release Clown House. Salva served 15 months in prison after pleading guilty to 1 count of lewd and lascivious conduct, 1 count of oral S with a person under 14, and 3 counts of procuring child P. After taking a few years away from the industry, Salva somehow managed to get hired by Disney to direct Powder, resulting in mass controversy and protests regarding Salva's prior charges. The director then got his biggest gig to date, directing Jeepers Creepers, and the rest is history. Additionally, Roman Polanski has also been accused of being intimate with a 13-year-old. Following a photo shoot in 1977, 43-year-old legendary filmmaker Roman Polanski was arrested and charged with SA of 13-year-old Samantha Geimer, as well as furnishing a controlled substance to a minor. Polanski eventually accepted a guilty plea which saw the charge reduced to only engaging in unlawful S. However, after learning that he was likely to be imprisoned and deported, he fled the United States to France, where he has largely remained ever since. Avoiding countries likely to extradite him to the U.S. now, there's a certain degree of sympathy for Polanski given the rather dubious legal process of Polanski's arraignment, as well as the 1969 unaliving of his wife Sharon Tate and their unborn child, though that doesn't of course excuse his actions 8 years later. The director has expressed remorse for what happened and kept his nose clean since, but even so, pretty much every time a new movie of his comes out, the controversy comes up again, and it's pretty hard to ignore. Anyway, the scandal that left tongues wagging involved none other than the legendary Morgan Freeman. Whispers of an alleged affair between Freeman and his step-granddaughter, Idina Hines, have been circulating since 2009, initially reported by the National Enquirer. However, the plot thickened as gossip mills went into overdrive, suggesting that their connection wasn't just a fleeting fling, it was a full-blown romantic entanglement. If the grapevine is to be believed, the duo was purportedly contemplating taking their unconventional relationship to the next level with plans of marriage. In fact, before she was brutally unalived, Hines told her boyfriend-turned-Kayer that the actor had been secretly sleeping with her, confirming years-old claims about the illicit affair, according to defense lawyers. Idina Hines disclosed to Lamar Davenport and others that her grandfather engaged in a inappropriate relationship with her, Davenport's lawyer Beth Unger claimed in court. While they aren't related by blood, Freeman has known Hines since she was a small child and has been a part of her life for years. The 80-year-old adopted her biological mother, Dina Adair, during his first marriage to Jeanette Adair Bradshaw, and then helped raise Hines with his second wife, Myrna Colley Lee. Adair was Jeanette's daughter. Freeman and Hines have both said in the past that the claims about them sleeping together were completely false. The recent reports of any pending marriage or romantic relationship of me to anyone are defamatory fabrications from the tabloid media designed to sell papers, Freeman said in a 2012 statement, as stories circulated about their alleged wedding plans. In a separate statement, Hines wrote, "These stories about me and my grandfather are not only untrue, they are also hurtful to me and my family." The 33-year-old was unalived in 2015 after being stabbed 25 times outside her Manhattan building by her substance-induced boyfriend, according to prosecutors. Davenport is on the hook for second-degree M and is facing a maximum of 25 years to life in prison, if convicted. His lawyers are pursuing an insanity defense. They claim that he wouldn't have taken Hines' life if it weren't for the substances he was on. Mr. Davenport did not possess the intent to K Miss Hines, said Colley. My opinion was that he lacked substantial capacity to appreciate the wrongfulness of his actions and know the nature and consequences of his conduct. Anyway, with all these allegations, one thing is clear: Hollywood is definitely not a safe place for minors. In any case, whether or not the allegations centered on Woody Allen are true, what is certain is that his cinematic legacy has been forever tarnished. It is difficult to look back on the classics of his career, such as Annie Hall, Sleeper, and particularly Manhattan, that involve a relationship between a man and an underage girl, without also remembering the scandalous nature of his 20th century career. Though Woody Allen has never been convicted of any wrongdoing in a court of law, his questionable behavior throughout the case has been a constant source of criticism, with Judge Elliot Wilkes' damning assessment of his self-absorbed, untrustworthy, and insensitive nature, acting as a deafening reminder of his career. For such a supposed cinematic master, the career of Woody Allen is destined to go out, not with a bang, but a whimper, as his damaged legacy has come to overwhelm his identity. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.